Welcome back to Poddy Talk,
the podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Torin. Welcome to another episode. This is
Another day,
another day, another dollar.
another.
Time to make that bread.
Y'all, we have been out of the routine of the system. It's maybe that as well. It's been a good month at least. And wow, just to bring you up to speed on what's going on in life, it has been month 6 of Ontario lockdown. It's getting crazy here. And my life honestly has been really boring. That's pretty much the update on my end. Tor, what's been new with you?
No, it's very interesting because I do feel like, and I've seen this sentiment kind of going around on the interweb, and it's kind of this idea that like we've been in lockdown for so long that I feel like this sense of impending anxiety that's going to come when we actually are like reopening and going back into society. Like I'm so used to my life being so internal and in my 1,000 square foot condo. Like I don't know what that's going to feel like when it's like, hey, let's all go out for dinner and like be in society.
I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely like aching/ready for it. Maybe there'll be some nerves, but I think like once I'm vaccinated, once we're all vaccinated, like I don't care. As long as I know we're safe, like let's resume life. Like,
I completely agree. I just
like maybe
definitely
for
think,
a day.
yeah. Well, no, I feel like we've all had this, I don't know. It's like been like nice in some senses because I've found like new habits and new things that I do in this version of my life that I never had time to do, or maybe like the patience to do when life was like always on the go or always on the run.
Yeah.
So I don't want to lose those things. So maybe that's the like fear. It's like, oh, I've become a better version of myself. So I hope that remains, you know?
No, I mean, I definitely agree. I feel like I've become way more of a homebody than I ever thought I was. And I kind of like it. Like I thought I would be mad about it, but I'm actually very happy with it.
Yeah.
But with that, I feel like I've had a lot of like home renos, and obviously it's like a huge trending thing because so many people have been spending so much time at home. But a few weekends ago, I mean, I know obviously I already told you about this, but the Poddy audience needs to hear.
Yes.
I redid my balcony, which was like such a game changer. It's finally getting warm here in Toronto. And I finally got those like balcony tiles that everyone kind of has on their balcony.
Yeah.
So I just made a decision one day. It was actually on Easter weekend, I think. And I was like, I need to do something out here. So I picked up the tiles, got them cut all around, and like now it just makes the outdoor space feel so much more elevated. So I'm ready for a summer. I'm ready to use it. And I also just ordered a desk for inside my house. So it just feels like my space has been upgraded in the best way. And I'm very happy. I just love my home. I feel so lucky.
Well, you know how I feel about a balcony. I mean, I don't know if I've discussed this on the podcast. I don't go on my balcony, even though it is owned space by me, but I do not attend the balcony. I do not step foot on it.
And you have furniture out there.
Yep. It's not for me. It's for the onlookers. It's not the one because, and this is why.
But why,
Tori? Yes, this is why. Arachnophobia, right? So I hate spiders. There's a lot of spiders out on the go, and I see them, especially in the night hours. They're creepy crawlies, and I cannot. And I was discussing with Jacqueline, like I don't even know if I can sit on her balcony now, even with the tiled floors. Like just the idea that they could be seeping through the cracks, like coming towards me, gives me the major anxiety. I cannot.
I empathize. I definitely empathize, but my thing is like, I mean, I guess phobias don't make sense, but this is the same person who had no fear entering a mother crocodile's swamp den with her babies and kayaked right next. Like, it makes no sense. Like the level of actual potential danger that you could have been in that situation. Where you're like, this is so cool. I love this. Then you just picked up a snake later that day. Like, you have no fear actually of like typically like scary animals.
No.
But then when it comes to a little spider, you're just done. But then also to say that.
Yeah.
What is it?
No, it bugs me, like, because I also agree with what you're saying. Like, there is not many other, even insects don't even really bug me. Like, if it's a ladybug or even if it's like a lizard, like those things don't freak me out. Something about the 8 legs coming towards me, I cannot explain it. It makes me want to fall to the ground. I don't know. It's a phobia.
Well, it was so funny because No, it literally is a phobia. And I was actually debating sharing this piece of information with you because I swear we must have had this conversation. And then 2 nights later, I'm sitting in my condo at nighttime. And there's like, I've got a lot of windows of my place, but there's a lot of windows that like I can't reach, like just like there, it doesn't open. Like I can't clean them even if I wanted to. And I'm sitting there looking into the night sky. It's illuminated, gorgeous city, night skyline. And what do I see? A giant web of like spider web with a ton of like little flies and all of these disgusting poor
Oh,
dead insects in there and a massive spider. And this is after I've been telling Tor, hey, once we can hang out on the balcony, like you'll be totally fine. There's like nothing to worry about. My balcony, I'm high up, like I barely even get insects. Like it's cool. You'll be fine. Literally 2 days later, the biggest, like I'm talking probably the size of like a ping pong ball, like a massive spider. And it was the most spidery looking spider I've actually ever seen. And it photographed so beautifully. So of course I had to take a photo, show Tori. Again, I don't know why I did because that just now instilled the fact that you cannot go on my balcony. But there are
ugh.
spiders, but it was not on the balcony side. That's my thing. It's like, I think you're still in the clear.
I'm sure people relate.
Or
Like,
just no. Just no.
I don't know. I don't know. It's like it's something about it. And to be fair, I actually feel less comfortable on my balcony, but I also think it's because, well, I guess yours is clear too. But mine is like clear glass, and I just feel like as soon as they appear on the glass, it's all I see. Like my eyes, like it's like I'm actually
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and every time I see one, my eyes like know where they are. Like it's
You
like
have
I
this
have a
spidey
radar.
sense.
I do. I am
Mm.
Spider-Man. I mean, anyways, whatever. It is what it is. How did we even get here? How did this become the potty talk entrance story?
It's honestly, that was the only thing that happened in my past week. So when I'm telling you, I'm working from limited life experiences to go off of the
Oh, I
podcast now. Like me seeing
understand.
a big spider was the big thing that happened. So that's just the level of where my life is at, just so the viewers can understand.
Right, but we were talking about the
Balcony
fact that
renos, home renos.
home renos, right? So I have not done any. Well, actually, I did
Yes.
get a cute little vanity.
That's a lie. That is a lie.
What else did I do?
Okay, well, there was the rug story where you just one day were a mad woman and just went and ripped out
Oh,
your rug and
yeah.
just threw it out.
I did decide to throw out my rug. I'll tell you why. I made the mistake. Now, kids, listen to your parents because they're always right. My mom said to me, she said, don't get a beige rug. Like, it's so impossible to keep clean. It just like collects everything. It's not the one. And I was like, oh my God, you're actually so miserable. Like, no, I'm not listening to you. And I purchased a very expensive like cream silk rug, and it was like completely ruined within a year of purchase. So I had to delete that, and but it actually looks way better now without it. I think it's just like more clean. I don't know. I'm happy.
And then you did the little nook section. You got the little, what's it called? Like a little
Yes.
armoire or something.
Yeah, well, I like to call it backstock. That's inspired by Khloe Kardashian
Mm.
because she always talks about like how she keeps her product in like backstock, like all the extra PR. And so like when people come over, she has her backstock. So yeah, it's my little backstock container. It looks cute. I like it. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's my
Love the
home
home
upgrades,
upgrades.
right?
That's
That's
really all that's been going on in our life. You actually just reminded me, and I don't think we've ever actually talked about this yet so far. You said Khloe Kardashian, and this is the week when we're recording this, is when the whole photo scandal came out. To bring
yeah.
people up to speed who aren't aware, either MJ, her grandma, or like an assistant who was running MJ's account accidentally posted a photo of Khloe that was like not filtered or not approved.
Mhm.
And it was of her body. And she thought it was not flattering, which was so interesting because it actually made me a bit sad to think of, I mean, the potential body dysmorphia maybe that she's dealing with,
I
because
agree.
I thought it was actually a great photo. And the general consensus, what I was seeing online, is that it was such a great photo. But regardless, like, at everyone, I guess I understand that everyone has their own insecurities. But anyways, what I think is so interesting about this story is not only, sure, we can take the angle of talking about beauty standards that they contribute
Yeah.
to and then they can't keep up to, and then they feel like they even need to put filters on themselves, even after going through all these different modifications or filters or creating what that standard is. But what I think is actually the most interesting is maybe like more of an internet analysis based on the idea that when you ask the internet to not do something, or you have a PR team that works triple as hard to remove something, the internet goes 10 times harder on the opposite side and just shares it more. And it's so funny because I'm curious what the reach would have been with that image if MJ had just posted it and no one
Yeah.
ever talked about it, because I don't
I
think it would have
know.
made that big of a statement. But
Yeah.
I ended up looking it up after seeing the news story saying
Yeah.
Chloe's working so hard to get this photo removed. So I'm like, oh my God, this photo must be a shocking photo. turns out it's just like a normal photo. So it's funny when you ask the internet to do anything, I just feel like it'll do the opposite. And there is no way to ever erase an image. And if you tell the internet to stop doing something, they're going to go ahead and do it more.
I agree. It also does make you wonder because, some like actual PR strategies sometimes are to just leave it and like leave it be. Like, like you'll get, not me personally, but I know like from watching movies or like, just being in the PR world, like sometimes the advice is just let it be there. It'll die in a news cycle. Like it's fine. Because to your point, the more you feed the flame and the more you try to fight it or you try to pull back or you try to make new statements, like similarly to what Chloe did, it's like you're actually just creating more drama. Like you're actually just like feeding into the beast.
Well, and that was kind of the other side of the story that I was seeing that people were like, LOL, just tell me this is another PR stunt to promote their new show or the finale or whatever they're promoting just to get more hype around her name and her products. So
Do you
maybe
think
that
so?
was actually the strategy.
Hmm.
I don't know. Personally, I don't think so. I think genuinely she did not want that photo being
I think
seen.
so
And I
too.
think maybe deep down, like she really did have a problem with the way she looked there, which that does actually make me really sad because
I agree.
yeah, I mean, I think she looks great. And I know it's hard because there's so many times when you can see something in yourself that you don't like, but then you can see that same thing on someone else and not think twice about it.
Yeah.
But I do think the overarching message that is left is that the way I look in this photo isn't good and I don't want people to see me this way, even though that's a very human and normal way to look. So I don't know. It definitely like
Yeah.
leaves a strange taste in my mouth, but I actually just feel bad more than anything. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I feel
sad that
sad for her. But I also think we're in an era now, like, I mean, we're in 2021. This is, the generation of people that want body positivity, not hiding away from that. And it's interesting because I always thought
Mhm.
Chloe kind of embodied that, like very much with like Good American, and her whole brand is
That's
very
her
much
whole
like,
brand.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
we embrace all bodies, and like she is so inclusive in that way in terms of like how they create their sizing lines and everything. So it does kind of beg the question like, oh, you can't really even practice what you preach. And that's a little bit concerning to me because it's like, we have celebrities that we're all idolizing and looking up to. And then we have like just a regular girl on TikTok who's actually more bold and more confident than like a Khloe Kardashian. And you're kind of like, oh, like, if this normal girl can show her body like and be so confident and proud, but then we have like a Chloe trying to literally like hide one, in my opinion, epic bikini photo. I don't know. It makes you wonder where we all stand. Like
I
I want
know.
I
I
want
know.
more women. I just want more regular girls then. Like more regular women showing off their bodies.
Exactly. And I think that's why things like TikTok are actually like some of the best things for this new generation. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's so interesting because I try to empathize and try to at least see the perspective of I will never understand what it's like to be at that scale. I will never understand what it feels like to
Yeah.
have so many unsolicited opinions on my body. Like I do think
Yeah.
that would actually really bother me,
Yeah.
but it makes me wonder like they know that they set the standards, they set the trends, like they do
Mhm.
recognize their power and they know their worth. And so much of even Chloe's story from what I've heard in interviews and just her talking about her experience feeling like the one sister that didn't fit in, it
Mhm.
was that she felt lucky to have the influence to whether do Revenge Body or all these new shows and start set this
Yeah.
new standard and even have her sisters who at the time were curvier girls than what the beauty standard at that time was,
Mhm.
which that's a whole other topic that could get me going on another rant. But I just think if she could have said, hey, my body also looks like this in the photo that she posted as a follow up, being like, hey, my body still looks hot. And she kind of posted that thirst trap and kind
Yeah.
of acknowledging it all. It would have been so much more powerful if she could say, my body also looks like this, but then it also looks like this. Hey, this
Yeah.
is really good lighting. This is an unflattering photo. Guess what? It's the same body. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I just feel like that message could have been stronger. But
I
also, I do
agree.
have to recognize that people are human. And yeah, maybe she just didn't have the strength to do that. And maybe it really did just like hit a trigger. But
Yeah.
the whole situation really just is so, ugh, I don't know. It's
It it
crazy.
it is weird because I mean I do think there's a point to that, like we dehumanize celebrities, like that's like a thing, and we,
Mhm.
again back to idolizing them and all of that. But I do think it's interesting because I was just watching a video and it was this girl doing quick changes but like throughout the day, so she would show you what her body looked like throughout the day in these outfits.
I saw that too.
Yeah, like on TikTok. But like that's so legit because it's like, yeah, the dress is gonna look really different at like 9 a.m. when you've like only had a sip of coffee versus like, 9 p.m. after you've had dinner and a drink and like hung out with your friends and eaten all your food all day and like whatever. Like I don't know. It's just, why do we have this standard that a dress has to look perfect in every moment or fit the same in every moment? Like, that's not life.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the thing. And you think then you think you're not normal because you're like, oh my God, it's dinner. And like these jeans need to unbutton. Oh God,
Yeah.
am I a disgusting pig? And you start like having this negative self-talk. But
No.
no, guess what? Everyone does that. Everyone experiences that. And like we know Instagram is not real life, but it's hard to actually believe that when you're still seeing only the perfect things being portrayed. So
I
that's why, I
completely
mean,
agree.
every episode we just talked the praises of TikTok. And sure, there are negative sides of TikTok as well,
Yeah.
but I think the exposure to more of those things is like chef's kiss, A1, love it.
Well, I would love to continue to, and I think it's different, like, because, and you and I have been in this world for so long, and I would argue that because we started out younger, we come to this job with like, I don't know, with maybe the ideation that it is a job. Like, we take it very seriously. We take this world very seriously, like the digital media world. All of the things. But then you have people that are just starting out and they're so like casual about it in such a good way. Like, I'm envious of their sort of like, laissez-faire attitude. It's just like them kind of sharing their life, because I would criticize myself and say, I do think I approach social media with, not that it's, oh my God, it's a highlight reel, but I would say that it's not the most pulled back version of myself. I'm very brand friendly. I'm very PG, if you will. And I think
Yeah.
that's a critique I would give myself in recent times. I think especially with the rise of TikTok, where everyone is so transparent and so like conveniently accessible. I don't know that I offer that to my audience in the same way. I don't think that's a bad thing, because again, we've been doing this for so many years. It's hard to like remove the Tory hat and like I take the job hat on and then the personal, like it's hard to like really mesh that and make it all cohesive. Not saying I'm not authentic online. It's just, it definitely is it's a persona. It's a stage thing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. And like, I think, yeah, I feel like I have been, yeah, trying to kind of like, not like break that barrier, but I feel like now I try to be way more casual with it. But I understand the mindset of having, I want this all to be a very specific way. And I think it depends also, yeah, how you grew up, because we grew up at a time when our biggest celebrity we idolized was Miley Cyrus. And she was
Yeah.
so Disney friendly and so PG and had to be so perfect and like couldn't
Yeah.
do one wrong thing, couldn't say one swear word. And when there was a photo released of her, when she did her photo shoot with a towel on her, they came out as this slut. She's doing this naked photo shoot and her dad was on set and let this happen. What a whore. And like,
Yeah.
that was the headlines that we were seeing when we're like 12 for someone who just decided to have a photo shoot. And first of all, nothing was showing. And even if it was like live, laugh, love, I mean, I think she was underage. So, okay, maybe nothing needed to be showing, but still,
Yeah.
she had a towel on. And like, we're just so used to like women specifically getting shit on for all this stuff.
I
So
agree.
when we grow up and that's our celebrities and how people are being treated, then it's so easy to digest the narrative that, oh, okay, I have to be really perfect and I can't do this and I have to not say this and I can't show too much, but I have to show, and like I hope with the younger generation they don't have that.
I mean, based on what I see on TikTok, they do not have that problem. It does seem like
Yeah.
they are more accessible. I worry about that a little
Mhm.
bit. For
In
future
what way?
for future hiring. Uh like, because I think about social media today and how kids use it. Because I think about, like, remember like when we were growing up with Facebook, but it was, again, even on Facebook, like very PG, like you'd only kind of like your friends would tag you in photos, but it was, it was always kind of like, be careful about what's online. It's forever. It cannot be, you are not Khloe Kardashian. You do not have access to get your lawyers to pull all this content from the internet. But my fear is like, there's a lot of casual videos that circulate now that are like, these girls, boys, whoever can be between the ages of, what is the access on TikTok? 14, like younger, like I don't even 12, like it's pretty
Yeah,
young.
something like that.
And then it's like, okay, but the videos that you're making at 12 or 13 or 14, or even just in high school, like being casual and making party videos, like all those party ones that circulate, you do
Mhm.
wonder, it's like, like hope a future employer doesn't see that. Hopefully. I
Oh,
don't know.
yeah. No, I definitely hear you. It's weird. I feel like I can kind of go both ways because part of me wants to be like, well, fuck future employers. If they have tattoos, if they swore online, like who the fuck cares? That's real life. Like
Mm.
that generation's gonna die out anyways. But then I do see the other side being like, yeah, I agree. I'm glad I wasn't 14 and had access to post things this publicly. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that when I was 14 and wanted to change my profile picture, the norm in my household was I had to ask my mom if I was allowed to change my photo to whatever it
Wow.
was. And but it's just so different and there's no way that that could happen in
Yeah.
today's day and age.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I do go back and forth. I think at the core really does just come down to like education and teaching like younger people like about what's appropriate to share online. And yes, I
Well,
think there is a fine line of being authentic and being able to like be honest and you don't have to be so PC and like
yeah.
you can be more candid, but then also that fine line of not sharing things that will be damaging or things that you'll want removed in 5 years. So it's weird. It's how do you teach that?
I don't know. And I think you made a good point. I think you and I had a similar discussion recently, just privately, because we were talking about how we feel really lucky that our experience in this industry happened very successfully but slowly. Like it's been like many years of us like finding our footing and figuring out, how to be adults in this industry and find our way. And not only that, but turn it into like a full-blown career. And I think now with the rise of TikTok, where we have a platform where people can go from literally 0 followers to like 5 million in a span of months, like that scares me. Like it's kind of back to that old saying of like the faster you rise, the harder you fall. It's you don't have the tools to take care of yourself, you don't have the strategies, you actually don't know how the industry works. I don't know. I have a fear. I have a inherent fear for that for the that upcoming generation, cuz yes, we had Instagram, but it was never that type of growth. And when we started, it wasn't the business that it is today.
I completely agree. Yeah, we definitely were talking about this. I think what I had brought up was something. Yeah, I'm glad that I got to make any of my failures or more embarrassing moments or the learnings of my career
Yeah.
with a really small audience. I think back
Yeah.
to the first time I ever did like a red carpet interview. I did the most embarrassing things. There is a video out there, I think, where I shake KJ Appa's hand upside down and it's really awkward and whatever.
Oh,
But I'm
yeah.
like, I was 18. Who cares? That was my first time doing a red carpet interview. And like,
Yeah.
guess what? 10,000 people I think saw it. That's it, not 8
Yeah.
million.
I know.
And and there's even I was actually this came up recently because I was doing another talk show kind of interview. And it made me
Mhm.
think back to the first time I did that talk show interview was years ago. And I was sweating profusely. It was the most embarrassing video. I've never shared it. I never told anyone to watch it because I was sweating. It was so like
Aw.
profusely dripping. Like it was not normal. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
thank God I'm not Addison Rae and had a
I
million people
know.
making fun of me because at that time I probably would have been like, oh damn, that's really embarrassing. I don't ever want to do that again. And it would have
Yeah.
probably shut me down from trying again. So I think there is something to be said about like I feel so grateful for my timeline and how yeah, everything's happened. And I think it's easy. This actually makes me think about the Allison Stoner story that just came out that you had sent me the article to, which
Mhm.
Allison Stoner was someone I remember as a kid always thinking she was so cool because she was like a tomboy, but then also was a really great dancer and like could sing on Camp Rock and like had this really cool career and was literally like peaking at age 8. Like, I mean, she's still doing
Yeah.
amazing things, but like had this huge blow up at such a young age. And then you watch her video now talking about the whole toddlers to train wreck kind of trope and like how that always happens and history repeats itself. And we love to see the child star go crazy and go off the edge. And she was talking about how that was actually her experience as well. The public just didn't know because she chose to do all of this in private and went to
Mhm.
rehab privately and kind of struggled with eating disorders and also just the emotional trauma of I think she was going into an audition and had this very intense sexual assault scene that she was reenacting at age 6. And then 2 seconds later she's going into a toy audition and she's smiling girl number 3 and had to smile and like sell a fun Barbie doll or something.
Mhm.
So I'm like, damn, that like of course that's going to mess up anyone's psyche. And it's funny, it actually made me think back to and again, this is such a different scale because I was like a failed child actor and I loved it growing up and I was so lucky to have a plethora of different experiences, but it was never at that level.
Mhm.
And I feel grateful because I remember it must have been like 7 or 8 and I learned about this later in my life, but I feel so grateful for like my mom specifically who again didn't really know what she was doing, had no experience in the actual industry, but was very like overprotective but in a really good way. There was an audition I think that came through for a horror movie and again I was 7 or 8 years old and the audition scene and the role was that I get baked in an oven. Like the child gets murdered and is in
Oh
an oven.
god.
Yeah, like very graphic, very just intense. And that was, I think, the first audition that my mom was like, Jacqueline is not auditioning for this. I will not let my
Yeah.
7-year-old be on set pretending to die in an, like, it's just like, no,
Yeah.
hard line. She's not auditioning. And I
Yeah.
look back now, and I remember at the time, maybe I had heard about it maybe when I was 10 or 11. I was like, Mom, you should have let me audition. I know it's make believe, but looking
Yeah.
back now as an adult, I'm like, damn, I am so, so lucky. And I don't know how I got lucky that my mom knew to say no to that, or all of these little things that could have maybe snowballed into a bigger trauma in my life. And I look
I
back now on all those
agree.
memories and I feel so grateful. And I feel like you
Yeah.
have somewhat of a very similar experience and mindset.
Yeah, I think that article was very interesting to me because I've been privy to some of the child stars of Hollywood that I've just met throughout the years. And it's like, it's so unique in the sense that like some people have genuinely had the worst experiences that are very kind of like echoing Allison's, ideas that like Hollywood broke her and like gave her all of these
Mhm.
like kind of terrible, confidence issues and work ethic issues and, worked her to the ground and all those things. But there's like this really weird flip side where like there's a whole other version of a child actor where it was totally fine. And I think to your point, the biggest thing was like support, like whether that's like family support or, I don't know, like a counselor, like anyone that you're looking up to that is
Mhm.
kind of guiding you and helping your career. It could be an agent. It could really be anyone that just has the experience
Yeah.
to know how to protect you. And I think if you have that, you're golden. Cause like honestly, you end up being blind to a lot of it when you have that protection. Like I think back even to my time, it's like, yeah, similarly to you, like there were things I wouldn't even know about or that would completely go over my head because I was being protected and people wouldn't let me in on those conversations. Um, in a good way. Like I don't think that's up to like a
Yeah.
10-year-old to worry about. Like they just want to have fun and they want to be on set, let them do that. But like, yeah, don't make them be a full blown adult at 10. That's really tough. So, but yeah, that was a rough article to read for sure.
Yeah, no, it was super, super sad. And I guess the answer is like, yeah, again, what is the like call to action? How do we fix it? Is it having better laws in place? Cause like I completely not again empathize, but I understand the mindset of how a lot of these things kind of trickle into the problems that they become. I remember specifically hearing about Bella Thorne's story,
Mm,
and this was a while ago, so I might have some details wrong, but the premise being that she knew that her family needed money and they couldn't afford to live in this house. They like her mom had no job and was supporting her other siblings with really nothing. So
mm,
when Bella booked Shake It Up, she knew that okay, this is going to be able to afford our rent. This is going to be able to pay for this.
yeah,
And having that pressure on a 12-year-old
it's a
or
lot.
even younger, who knows? Like it's insane, and kids understand more than we think they do. Like
Oh
kids
yeah,
get it, and it just trickles into this bigger thing. So
yeah,
I don't know what the answer is. I do think it's really sad. I do think it needs to come down to adults around these kids protecting them, but
yeah.
how do you ensure that that's happening with every single child star? Like I don't know, it's it's
Yeah, you
really
can't.
so not normal when you think about it, that there's a 6-year-old working 5 days a week, full adult hours, right? Like that's
I know.
crazy.
Well,
But
they do have shorter hours. Like that is the law in Canada. Like definitely child actors cannot work nearly as long as an adult. So I mean, that's good. Like
mhm,
it's not like their days on set are extensive, like
mhm.
beyond, belief. But I mean, yeah, you're still not living a normal life. You're not in typical school. You're not, seeing your friends every day. You're not socializing like a normal kid. So there's definitely some barriers, but I don't know. It's real. I have a
You think it
weird perception because I obviously turned out phenomenal and I grew up in the industry. No, I'm kidding. I'm
No,
totally
we
kidding.
were
But you know
we
what I
were like
mean? Like we
lucky
were
ones.
lucky. Yeah.
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 But that's what and this all kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, that I look at all of this and I remember being 12 years old and my biggest dream was I wanted to be on Degrassi. And I go, if I
Yeah.
live in Toronto and I'm not getting on Degrassi, like I'm a failed actor. Every actor who's a somebody is on Degrassi. And I remember going up for audition after audition and going, damn, like I think this is the one. I killed that audition. I
Yeah.
got good feedback. Now I'm gonna call back. And like thinking that this was gonna be everything to me.
Yeah.
And I remember when obviously that did not happen. I was like, damn, it's such a failure. My acting career is dumb. What have I put all this time in for? How have I been acting for so long and I couldn't even book that role? And
Yeah.
at the time thinking that it was the end of the world. And now I look back and I go, "Oh, I'm really grateful that I did all these things on a small scale. I'm actually really grateful that I didn't have that crazy insane turn of eyeballs on me when I was
Mhm.
13 years old."
Yeah.
Because again, not saying everyone who has that turns out bad, but
Yeah.
you can.
You
So,
can. Yeah.
being grateful for the timeline that you're given, it does happen for a reason,
Absolutely.
and just count on the blessings,
You
baby.
got to just ride the wave. Like that's the thing. And I think kids, especially, or as a kid, like it's easy to think that even as a teenager, I mean, it's easy to think that like your career is over by the time you're like 25. I don't know why. Like sometimes, do
Because
you know what I mean?
society tells us that. They
Yeah,
tell
like
us we age out.
I
But
know, like you have this weird idea that like your career is over, but then what if you flip it on your head? Like, I mean, neither of us are even 25 yet. And then I'm like, man, what if all of this up until then was actually just like a test drive? And then at 25, you just decide what you're gonna actually like what you're actually gonna do for your life. Like it's just interesting. Like
yeah.
you have so much time and like all these little experiences they add up and you end up being this full person that can like do a whole other thing or a whole other project or whatever. Like who knows?
As Natasha Bedingfield says, the rest is still unwritten. And
I
it
mean,
really is.
I
Like,
completely
who
agree.
knows what 10 years is?
Like maybe Potty Talk is actually like Good Morning America in like 10 years. And it's us on
We'll
your
see,
screens
baby.
saying hello. Oh, like we're Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you seen the show?
I actually did watch 2 episodes, which was very rare
It
for
was
me. But
really
then
good.
my parents watched it without me. So then I just was like, I'm done. You can't watch a series without me. That's unfair. We started it together and I felt really betrayed. So I shut it
Ah,
down.
very good though. The morning show. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. But exactly, the rest is still unwritten. We have so much more to go. And yeah, the podcast, it's well, we have some changes. We will never return to studio, which we'll just let you know now, the update there. Which like an interesting turn of events. Like I don't know how much you guys behind the scenes know about like MCNs or like access to MCNs. I mean, Jacqueline has a lot more experience with it through her YouTube channel, but it stands for multi-channel network and it essentially means they like how would you describe it? Like it's not like an agent, but it's like a network.
Yeah, the simplest way that I would always explain it to people is that it is like an agency for my YouTube channel. I feel like that's the most
Right.
digestible way to explain it.
Okay.
But MCNs, I feel like definitely were at their peak. It was more when YouTube just kind of started to become a thing, but it was also very like niche. It's like if you knew, you knew, but if you
Yeah.
didn't understand YouTube, it was weird. You didn't get it. Like people have careers online. And it's really before people were really making any money. I would say this is like 2011 to like 2013 era specifically.
Yeah.
And it was just like influencer wasn't a word, it was a YouTuber. And again, Instagram wasn't a thing. There was no like cross platform following. It was like you had a YouTube audience and like period.
Yeah.
So it was a thing that a lot of these people obviously had no experience kind of in the marketing world or in the entertainment industry. So these YouTube networks would appear and they would represent a bunch of like top YouTubers and kind of get them brand deals and help facilitate contracts because these people
Mhm.
probably had no experience. So at that point, I think it was like very necessary and like very much so a thing. I feel like 2015 onwards, it kind of wasn't as popular. But that being said, I still signed into one when I was it 2015 now or it must have been January of 2016. So I was just maybe about a year into my YouTube channel. That timeline might be wrong. Now I'm second guessing it.
What year
Was it
is it?
20?
Sometimes it's
I
2021.
don't know now.
Yeah.
I think it must have been early 2016. And I honestly didn't even know that like Much Music had this YouTube network. Like it was this I was a secret to me. I had no idea. But then when I was
Mhm.
approached by it, I obviously grew up loving Much Music and just being so obsessed with it and like attending their fan events and like so I was like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? You want to represent me? Like that's crazy. And at the time I must have had like 15,000 YouTube subscribers and to me like they obviously not only offered so many amazing opportunities, but also it really just like kind of I felt validated what I was doing because I was like, I've got this
It
amazing,
like
legit,
legitimizes
cool
you.
brand.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's got this brand behind me. And obviously, like I look back at all those times and like it was the best experience. And I got so many of those kind of first learnings, whether it's first interviews and red carpets, and truly
Yeah.
had the best memories there. But fast forward now to 2021, where MCNs kind of don't exist anymore. And unfortunately, much does not have that MCN structure anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, things are changing. And I don't think MCNs, I honestly don't really know any other companies that still actively have
Yeah.
big rosters of MCNs. So a
Well,
lot
this
of
is the
changes
thing. It's like,
happening.
can you even imagine? Like, okay, so that let's say they were like alive and well doing that for like 5 to 10 years. That just goes to show how quickly this digital industry is changing. Like, I mean, of course, like even faster than we even want to admit in terms of like how platforms are rising. And I mean, Clubhouse, like we have new platforms every day where creators are transferring over their talents and like
But
sharing
did you
new
hear about
things.
Bitcoin? Or no, not Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin. I mean BitClout.
Yeah, so
Like
weird,
there's
like,
so many.
and there's so many, I don't know, like,
I know.
and of course, like, that's exhausting in itself, but then on, like, the management side of things, like, you can only imagine how stressful that must be for, like, the corporate side trying to figure out how to even keep up with all of us because 'cause we're just, like, constantly pushing out content and doing the most, so, anyways, all this to say, Poddy is on the rise, we are onwards and upwards to phenomenal things, so stay tuned. That's all I have to say.
But who would have thought that the last time we went into that studio would have been the
I mean,
last time?
I did not
I know
think
it's,
that
it's
and
bittersweet.
that's a little sad, actually. I didn't even think
I
about
know.
that. We're gonna have to
I
go
think it was
back
in
and
our
find that
episode.
last episode. Oh, it
I
was
think it
with,
was our episode with Adeline.
it was, with Adeline. That was our
Yeah.
last time we were in wow, that feels like actually so long ago.
I know. I know.
I
It
mean,
feels
yeah,
like a long
COVID
time ago.
complicated it times 10, so it's like, yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, all good things.
We're
But
here.
yeah,
We're here.
here we are. Shall we do roses and thorns?
So I'll take away roses and thorns. My first thorn is going to be that, okay, so I got this new CB2 desk delivered and I was so excited about it. And I had like bought it
Yes.
3 months ago, spent a pretty penny on it. And I was like, this is an investment. Taking Tori's motto, spend money on things you really want if you can afford them. And I'm like, yes, I'm doing this desk. Love it. It arrives yesterday, it gets delivered. And the whole thing is like they build it for you and like set it up.
Nice.
They screwed the top of the desk on backwards on my
Oh
desk. And
no.
this was not made aware until they left the place.
Oh
So I'm
no.
like, I understand. But then Danny to the rescue. My father is just truly a handyman on call, so he fixed it. But it was just so funny. I was like, "Are you kidding me? After all this time, after all this money, it's put together backwards. How did this
Oh,
happen?" So that was a
Jesus.
thorn, but it got sorted. A rose is. I guess I'm gonna make these a bit more overarching because this is kind of like a monthly kind of update and recap. Yeah, I feel really grateful that I mentally am feeling pretty good. I know this like long Ontario lockdown has been really hard for a lot of people. And again, hats off to all the frontline workers and literally all the doctors and nurses and people that are saving lives and making the world still run. But yeah, this has been a
Seriously.
really long 5 months, but I feel really grateful that my mental health has been doing okay. And I feel just really blessed to be healthy, honestly.
Yeah.
And another rose is filming this today. It honestly, I was like craving this. And also just on a personal friendship level, I feel like I haven't seen your face in just a hot minute. So it's
Here I
nice to hop
am.
on this and catch up. And rosebud, something I'm looking forward to is now that the new balcony setup is like alive and well, I am ready for a UV index of 8. I want to get my naked body out there and slather up in some SPF, but also some
Uh,
tanning products. And I want to get a real tan because I'm translucent at this point and I'm feeling a little lacking of vitamin D.
yeah, the weather has really like
I
it was
know.
really nice and now it's like kind of overcast and weird, but hopefully this weekend we get it might be raining all weekend. I don't want to jinx it, so we'll see.
Oh God.
Um
Spring.
Okay, so quick thorn. So yeah, this is the story Jacqueline's discussing. So a few weeks ago, I was driving on the highway. I get onto the Gardner and this car like pulls up beside me and he's like waving me down and he's like doing all the craziest like hand motions and I'm like, "Sir, oh my god, like I know I'm beautiful, but like please, like I'm trying to focus on the road. Like stop trying to get my attention." And he kind of like I'm like waving him off and he kind of
That's
waves
the
me off.
Leo in you for sure.
Oh yeah. Like me not even thinking that there's like a problem, me just thinking he's like like trying to get my attention because he thinks like I'm cute. Anyway, so I continue on and then it becomes very apparent that clearly something actually is wrong because multiple cars are like kind of like flashing their headlights or pulling up beside me and kind of like making arms. And I'm like, okay, what the actual heck is wrong? Because if I'm not mistaken, like my back trunk is not open. I see no fire. I feel no heat. Like I'm just a little confused, like what's happening. Nothing else is like coming to my mind. Like I can't even imagine why people are like making this face unless something is like falling out of my trunk. So I'm like, whatever. I don't feel safe pulling over on the side of the highway, which like in retrospect, I actually think that was the right call. Like pulling over is like a little like it's dangerous. There's a lot of cars. I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna get uptown. I was just heading to my parents' house to drop something off. So I was like, I'll just get off at the like where I know is safe and I'll pull over at like the Tim Hortons. So I pull off the highway after like everyone literally hazarding me off. And I pull into the Tim Hortons because like one, I needed a coffee and like two, whatever. I just feel safe at a Tim Hortons. And I like get out of the car. I do like a loop around the car. The trunk is totally fine. It's like totally normal. So I'm like, what is the problem? Like, why was everyone literally coming towards me? Then I realized, no, in fact, Tori, your tire is completely flat on like the back side. So they were just flagging me because it looked like my tire was gonna like go flying off.
How
Anyways, I
did
got
you feel it though?
in retrospect, to be fair, I've never driven in a car with a flat tire. So like I didn't know what to even feel. But I
Did
will
you feel it
say,
happen?
no. But I found out after, like I called my dad. My dad obviously was like, "Why the heck are you in a Tim Hortons drive-through? Like, why didn't you pull into a gas station?" Like I just did everything wrong. But anyways, whatever. He helped me put on like the spare. We go down to the shop. It was literally just like I went over a nail in the road. Like and that popped the tire. So anyways, it was fine. It was like $20, get it filled. That was just like not a thing. I like that's like adulting. Like what? Like I just don't want that stuff to happen. It was a thorn. Ridiculous.
To be
I don't
fair,
know.
I feel like honestly, I wouldn't be good in a situation like that either. It's just like I don't know what to
Yeah.
do. Like, yeah, why are you waving at me? Like, I think I probably
Yeah.
would go fight or flight, and
It's
I would flight.
alarming. And like I was just trying to focus on the road. Anyways, whatever. Definitely a thorn. Rose is I have a few. I mean, one rose I have been working on set this week. I'll have a project. I don't know when it'll come out, so I can't flag anything. But really fun, just like so crazy to be on set during COVID. It's such an interesting experience. Everything is different. It's not what it seems. Like what used to be like a craft table of like food, everything is like digital now. Like you basically get like Uber Eats to your trailer. Like it's just very interesting. So
How many COVID tests have you had because of
oh
this
god,
now?
I was up at 6 a.m. I had to go this morning to get another one. Maybe at least, I don't know, 15. A
That's
lot.
crazy.
A lot.
Yeah.
They rapid test pretty much every time, which is great. Like it's amazing to see that it's so crazy to see how industries have shifted to like figure out how to make this still all happen in a global pandemic. Like that in itself is like amazing. So that's a
Yeah.
rose. Another rose, Adam is in Vancouver shooting a really cool commercial. So
Ooh.
that's really fun. And then it was also fun because we were like texting. It's like, hey, are you on set? I was like, yeah, you on set? It's like very much like we're just like,
Just such an industry couple.
yeah, so busy. Okay,
We're
call
just
you
both on
after.
set.
Call you after I rap. Okay, love you. Copy that. You know, just good vibes.
Swag.
So that was
That's
great.
too funny.
And then a rosebud, something I'm looking forward to. I am excited for. I think like the next few episodes of the podcast, I think we have some really fun guests hopefully coming on very
Yeah.
soon. So stay tuned because I think like we've been very selective and strategic about who to have on the pod, and I think you guys are gonna love it. So get ready.
Yeah, I feel like to give people a little teaser, we try to, in terms of like people's careers, if the conversation is going to be career based, we really want to get a little taste of a lot of the different pockets and careers, hopefully just to be an interesting story to listen to and like hear about the highs and lows of that.
Yeah.
But we've got some interesting categories of careers coming up next. So I think that'll be fascinating.
Woot woot. Well,
Well, gang, it was so nice to film this again today. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave us a comment, DM us. Let us know what's going on in your life. Let us know what you want to hear from us. We live, we laugh, we love, and we appreciate you. Stay healthy, stay woke.
stay safe. Bye, baby.
Bye-bye.